I like to define marriage as a captain in a ship. You know, the woman is the ship and the man is the captain. The captain needs to know where the ship needs to go if the ship is going to get anywhere. If they're going to get anywhere together, he can't get there without the ship. Ship can't get there without the captain. And so, listen, I'm true to this. I'm not new to this. Like, there's a reason why you wanted me to talk about that. Anyway, what's good? It's your boy, Zachary Carroll, aka Pastor Z. Welcome back to my channel where I help you apply the Bible to all of life's craziness. This episode is all about dating. It will be in 2 parts. And I teamed up with my friend Taj, who hosts the channel Devotion in Motion Unloaded. We did an interview style where we were talking about kingdom dating, intentional dating, dating as a Christian, just dating in general. And the setup was she would ask me a certain amount of questions about dating and I would answer them. And then it turned into a conversation. My friend Jonathan Jones was in the background. And so I hope you enjoy. This is part 1. Part 2 will be coming soon. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know. Don't forget to like this video and share it with a friend if you found it helpful. Enjoy. Dating is a very... it can be very confusing. It could be very messy. It could be very annoying. It could be very ghetto. It could be very everything, you know, and a lot of times churches don't really lay out, you know, how young single Christians should date. And that's one thing that I'm passionate about, is helping people walk through that area. I've made mistakes in the past. I have been saved by the blood of Jesus, and Jesus has given me direction. So we want to help you get direction, because maybe you're a single Christian man or woman and you're looking to date and you have the desire to be married. I hope so, because you shouldn't be dating otherwise. We'll get to that. But hopefully this will be enlightening.
What is kingdom dating?
What is kingdom dating?
You could just keep this mic in front of you.
Really? Why? All right. What is kingdom dating? Kingdom dating is dating with Jesus at the center. Dating with Jesus, basically. The idea is the eyes are on marriage when you're dealing with someone, and you're not just dating for fun. You're not just dating just to see how it goes. You're dating to learn the person, and specific for the specific purpose of marriage. Intentional dating, dating with a purpose. Yep. Kingdom dating, all that. How would you define it?
Dating?
How would you define kingdom dating?
Kingdom dating. Intentionally dating with Christ being the center, you know. You dating to marry, but also growing together spiritually. I want to say is kingdom dating. To me.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to say.
So, growing together spiritually in your dating phase.
Yeah, while we're dating, eventually, if he's the center, then it's going to happen automatically, you know?
I wouldn't say automatically, no. I would say my response would be, you should be careful, you know, when you are dating, to have too much spiritual connection, because if things don't work out, it could make it harder to leave the person. But I guess it depends on what you mean by spiritual. Get closer spiritually. Like, you can both get closer to Jesus together, but to get closer to each other spiritually, you can run into some issues, but you know, maybe it's just the way you word it. But anyway, I mean,
like praying together, reading together, in that aspect.
Yes.
This mic is making me nervous.
They can't hear you.
Reading together, praying together, going to church together. You know, it's a relationship. You're dating, but you're also keeping Jesus as the center. Jesus is the, you know. The glue.
The glue. Yes, that's a good one.
Okay. Is purity necessary?
And how would you define purity?
Take this. Don't laugh, Jonathan. This mic is making me nervous. We're supposed to, the Bible tells us not to have sex before we're married. And not many people know that, or many people are told that but don't know why. So is it necessary? Celibacy. Is that necessary?
Celibacy is necessary. I would say purity is a little bit deeper than just not having sex, because you can not have intercourse and still be impure. The Song of Songs, it says that do not wake up love before it's time. And I think the necessity of purity prevents undue expectations, because I think from both men and women, when you're dating a specific way, when you're doing certain things, when you're acting too grown for your own good, there's expectations that come up. And when you're not married, those expectations can really affect in a negative way. I mean, I think all sin will eventually have negative aspects, negative consequences, and promote chaos and confusion. And that's not what you want. And so it's necessary to be on one page, on the same page with whoever it is you are courting or you're seeking to see if you can be married with. Like, if that person is not on the same page with you about purity, then yeah, I think that would be a red flag, because it's going to come up. And that's the thing that I think a lot of Christians don't understand, is that when purity is number one in your dating life, when you are trying to honor Christ above all else, it will affect how you date. It will affect what you do, where you go, how you go. And if it's only one person in the relationship that has that goal, then the other person's going to feel neglected. They're going to feel rejected. They're going to feel like it's you, like doing something to them, or it's just going to be bad. And so right off the bat, it should be understood, and there should be an understanding. There should be communication about purity, because it's really going to dictate everything else and every other aspect of what you guys do or don't do and why. And so you don't have to have these continuously having these conversations about like why someone you're not coming over for dinner, why you're not sleeping over, why we're not Netflixing and chilling. And it's like, we have to be honest with ourselves, but I may be getting ahead of myself anyway.
Because you mentioned that being a red flag. So what are green flags, red flags in kingdom dating?
All right. So which one you want first? Red flags or green flags? Green flags.
Start with the good stuff.
Yeah, start with the goods. Eat the dessert first. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you finish your food. So, what are you looking at me like that for? There's nothing wrong with eating your dessert first. There's nothing wrong with eating your dessert first, as long as you finish your food. A gospel presence in their life. Green flag. Gospel presence means, are they consistently going to church? I would say more than just going. Like, do people at that church know them? And the way you know that there's a gospel presence is in your interactions with them. First initial interactions, Jesus should appear somewhere. Like, there should be an appearance of Christ. Now, you don't have to talk about scripture all the time. I mean, y'all can go out and have a good time, but Jesus should have an appearance. Jesus should, if there's a gospel presence in anyone's life, and I believe that Jesus is powerful enough that there will always be an appearance if he's there. Like, if you're in a dark room and someone turns on a light in the room, can you tell? Yes. Same thing with Jesus. The world is dark. This is a dark world. And If Jesus is in any room, you gonna see it's gonna be a light somewhere, and so he should make an appearance. Now you don't have to dive into that so quickly, but you should definitely see that. I mean, you don't have to go, because that could be a little, because Jesus didn't come to bring peace. He came to bring a sword. Okay. So sometimes you talk about Jesus and then you about to start a fight because everybody got different beliefs about Jesus and this and that. And you do want to get there quickly. I'm not saying the first couple of meetings, like I gotta see if I even like you. Like, do we even have a vibe? If we didn't got a vibe, none of what you believe in matters. Which, listen, believe in what you want to believe in. But like, if we're kingdom dating, if that's the whole purpose of you being in my life, but we don't even have a vibe, like there's no chemistry, there's nothing. And I know a lot of people, probably a lot of pastors will disagree with me. It's not about chemistry. You build that. You build all that. Listen. I'm not saying you gotta go after the feeling, go after emotion. But if it's just awkward all the time with somebody, or y'all are just not on the same page, or it's just y'all don't have any chemistry, y'all don't have any vibe, like just because they're a good little Christian doesn't mean you gotta marry them. Y'all could be friends. I'm talking about dating. Like, why would you date somebody over than just having a friend, like just being cool with them? And I think that's one thing church folk really make annoying, is that soon as somebody in your age range that's single comes around, especially if you're in a multicultural sense and they happen to be your same race, every single time a black girl comes into church, it don't mean that I got to date her. It's just like, hey, how you doing? Like, what's up? Like, all those things I think are important. And a lot of people will disagree with me, but we can argue it out. But I think the Bible is perfectly okay it's perfectly biblical to be interested in the person that you're trying to marry, or attracted to the person that you're trying to marry. So gospel presence is definitely a green flag. I would say accountability is also a green flag, which I think stems from gospel presence. But like, there should be other people in their life. They should have a community, gospel community of people that, like, when you hang out with them, you probably are not hanging out with them like one-on-one initially. Like, there should be some time where you're like studying, like you're just seeing how they interact with their friends. Like, who are their friends? Like, tell me who your friends are. I'll tell you who you are, and it's like, it's what it is, like you keep hanging, like if you study a person's friends and what they're into, it'll inform you as to that person of interest and what they're into, or how they interact, how they, like, if, like, for fellas, if you see a girl and all you see is her gossiping with all her friends, she's probably a gossiper. She's probably full of drama, and she's probably a headache that you don't want to deal with. A headache. So it matters. Who she consistently hangs out with matters, and you should definitely vet. I mean, vetting is key. So your eyes need to be open. You need to be, if you're interested, pay attention. Don't be a creep about it, but pay attention. Ask questions to people around. So a good friend group, a good community is also a green flag. I would say those in general are pretty good. Red flags is, now, are we talking about people who meet in church, or just people who meet, period?
That you're looking to date.
Okay. All right. So, red flag would be they are not following Jesus. Listen for the word Jesus. Everybody knows about God, and everybody loves God. But listen for the word Jesus.
That's so true. Oh my gosh, that's so true.
Listen for the word Jesus. Because Jesus contextualizes God. We can't get to God anyway without Jesus. So, if you don't hear the name Jesus in their gospel presence, then that would be a red flag. I wouldn't say red flag. That's cautionary. That's caution. And it depends how many conversations. It's more than yellow. It's orange. It's orange because if Jesus is not in their life, that's a red flag. Red flag if Jesus is not in their life. It could be a Christian, but there's a difference between just being a Christian and then having Jesus active in your life to some degree. Now, you may be on different levels, and I get scrutinized about this a lot, is that somebody may not be on my level with Jesus, if there even was levels. Yeah, I'm not gonna argue. But they should be they should be definitely pursuit. There should be a pursuit of Jesus. I would say a red flag is also that they're more interested in you than in Christ. I think us single folk really want to be married or want to have somebody around unless you have the gift of singleness, which is fine. Most of us don't got that gift, okay? It's like, yeah, I don't have that gift either. But if you're after marriage more than you're after Jesus, that's a red flag. I mean, and I think that looks like, are they quickly willing to shirk their church duties or gospel community or daily devotional or whatever for you or for a relationship? Or, as soon as they get into a relationship, do they never come around in church anymore? Or that happens a lot, as soon as I'm not gonna lie, a lot of time with ladies, 'cause as soon as they get into a relationship, they gone. And then they come back. Well, guess when they come back? When they don't work out. When you are on a specific page with Jesus and that person is not on the same page with Jesus, it's a red flag. I mean, oh my gosh. It's like you'd hate to have to like walk through some doctrinal stuff, but you'd be surprised. Maybe it's because I'm a pastor. It just happens. Like either I meet somebody that's like Jesus is not really active, and that just doesn't really go with a minister, like dating a minister. And so that's a red flag for me. And then also, like after it's like, yeah, you just have to, yeah. And also, but then like if they're on fire for Jesus and they be believing some crazy stuff, it's like the more specific they are, like the more Jesus has a strong presence, the more separation there it is too. It's kind of like the only way around that, or the only thing to do is to like, it's like you want somebody that's maybe not as on fire as you. You want somebody who's pursuing Jesus, but not like I would say I'm like blazing like the sun with Jesus in my life. And if I meet somebody else that's also blazing like the sun with Jesus in their life, and then we believe the same thing about Jesus, that's rare. If it's the meaning, yes. You don't know what I've been through. That's what it is. I have dated women that believe that you shouldn't use instruments in worship.
That's not funny. Don't laugh.
No, I know exactly what he's talking about. Oh, because it almost happened to me too.
Yes.
Wait, but how do you not use? That's another conversation for another day. It's just, I've never heard that. I'm sorry.
We'll talk about.
What's another one?
Not use instruments. I can't let that go. Sorry.
That's one thing. There's a whole denomination that believes that. You get the question of, have you spoken in tongues? And it's like,
okay, I kind of get what you're saying. I get where you're going.
Okay. And then also, a lot of times you meet Christians or Christian ladies that, and I'm sure it's worse for the ladies meeting Christian men, but I'm a Christian, but I'm not really. What do they say? I'm Christian, but I'm not really. I'm cool with Jesus. They put Jesus on the shelf. They take him off the shelf on Sunday morning, and then as soon as they get in the car, on the way to brunch, they put him back on the shelf and then that's it. And then it's like you Christians that don't want to be abstinent. That's definitely a red flag. I probably should have said that first, but like if you're not on the same page with purity and abstinence as a goal, and here's an issue. A lot of what I hear constantly is okay. And I have a video on my channel talking about how to date while abstinent. And one of the things I said was you need to know how sensitive you are to some certain things. Like you need to know like how hot you can take it in the oven. You know, like if you like ladies may be, because one thing I've noticed is initially, not all the time, but initially ladies are surely okay with not having sex. It's like a relief when, you know, it's like, oh, okay, so this guy's actually interested in me, like in learning who I am. And a lot of times women are not even really like, sex is not even really that much of an option at the beginning. The good women. I'm not to say that women don't want sex, but I'm saying like they aren't thinking about that. They're like, who are you? I don't even feel comfortable around you. I don't trust you. But the issue comes later when all that is established. And now it's like we're in this 6-7 months and it's like it's hard. But if you can Netflix and chill, but he can't, you don't need to do it. You need to measure what you do based on the weakest one. And I hate calling it a weakness. It's just more people are more sexually sensitive than others. Some people are, they can sleep next to someone and they're good on a multiple day basis. And other people, like me, I've learned this. If I sleep with you in my bed, I'm doing something. In fact, if I'm alone with you in my house, I'm probably going to do something because I'm not a good man. Like, I don't know. I'm going to do something. Like I'm not, and that's not to say, and one pushback I always get is, oh, this means you don't have self-control. And it's like the self-control I'm implementing is not having you here, like not putting myself into those circumstances, because that's a lie of the devil. It is a lie straight from the pit that you can control yourself. And that's what he wants you to internalize. He wants you to believe. He wants you to practice. He wants you to practice this idea of self-control, because the devil doesn't care. He doesn't feel like he lost when you hang out one time and nothing happens. He's like, okay, it's okay. Eventually it's okay. I know people. I've known people since Adam and Eve, since the first people. And one thing I know about them, all you got to do is put some doubt. All you got to do is put a little crack in the armor. And especially just because you're not having intercourse doesn't mean you're being pure. And that's why earlier I said, you could be not having sex, but you're not pure. And I think that's why that should dictate whether you should kiss or not. All that stuff. Because sometimes some people are so sensitive that like if they're kissing, like that could arouse them, and it's like you shouldn't be awakening that if sex is not going to happen. Like that's a path downward. That's a path to destruction eventually. It may not happen in a week, may not happen in a month, but it's going to happen. And the priority is to maintain abstinence, because after it's happened, it's not like you can't be forgiven. It's just now it's a whole different ball game. Number one, it's hard to stop. Very hard to stop. Almost impossible to stop. And then expectations come. And that the idea is when you have sex with a woman you're not married to, you're lying to her. And she probably won't even recognize it. She'll probably feel like you're committed to her. She feels like you love her. She feels like you care about her and want to be with her forever. I mean, she may not vocalize those things, but that's what sex is. That's how God designed sex. He designed sex to keep two people in a marriage together, become one. And that's why sex is important in marriage. And so when you have sex outside of marriage, it's all out of order, and it's going to lead to chaos. And what question are we on? We have red flags.
And green flag. Well, yeah, red flag.
Okay, I think that's enough. All right, you can talk.
That was.